good. Did you see the line for me?
What the fuck? Tolo, you got a channel, you ain't say shit. You don't say nothing no more. What's up? Anyway, whatever. I'm not emotionally or feeling bound to nothing, so. I just had to address, sometimes I gotta address shit because a lot of people got shit with them. I don't know why. It makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. In this fictional world we live in, some people need to be addressed sometimes because in their fictional world, they miss and cross-dress because they don't really have clarification and understanding. And yet they think they do. It's very disturbing. Some people just have it out. And it's a game when it's not a game. Stop having it out when there's nothing to be had out. You dig what I'm saying? Be careful where you step and how you step and what you believe, because some people's beliefs are an exact exemplary of their fucking mentality, to which they can hide for a certain period of time. But when you come along, then you realize there's a gap you should not cross or walk into. Phoenix goofy ass learned that, and so many others did. Let's stay cordial. Let's stay nice and decent. I've been telling people for a long time, be careful of the company you entertain. I do things with purpose and reason. Let me I didn't take my second cup today. I love y'all. Don't get it fucked up in your little fictional world you live in. You get more than your feelings hurt. And there's two people I know from New York. I saw y'all down on my laptop once it updated, who could convey that if they would speak up. Instead of always giving me, I don't mind the likes. But tell them. We have Riploid. I guess they don't want to listen to her. We got a couple other individuals that spoke up. Y'all better listen. Take shit personal. And get it misconstrued because you have no understanding when you claim to have understanding. And those of us who actually have an understanding will call you on the spot when you could have rectified and cleared it. Because we don't have time for the bullshit artists running around, the little fed, the little agents, the little motherfuckers that create mischief and everything else. Who's all up in here? Mama Red, Mac V, Grey Wolf, Rondo. That's 4. Why I got 2 likes? Did they come in and run out? Some of you Negroes, I'm gonna address a couple of things that I see with certain individuals, the ones that be yelling and arguing and complaining all the time with no solution, no relevance to making anything, fixing anything, to making anything better. None of them. None of them. I always tell y'all go pay attention to my sister Kyle Branches, but I don't see her fixing shit. And I love her. I don't see her fixing a goddamn thing. Why? She still has some bad blood she needs to take care of. And I see how certain individuals gravitate because they have all that hate in them. If you're not about fixing your people and bringing people together and solidifying shit, you need to pump the brakes. See, I'm that big brother that's gonna say what you need to do compared to what the fuck you want and what you've been doing. And if you don't like it, regardless of what we've convened on, say something. Because I can correct the correlations, speculations in every area in your dewdrop nations, which I don't give a fuck about. We see a lot of these little groups coming up with you motherfuckers who just been walking in this shit for a handful of years. Y'all need to pump your brakes. You don't know nothing about how that UN operates, the fact that it's a fictional entity, a character in itself. And right now, you're under the guise of being illiterate. I mean, literally. And you motherfuckers are still being cordial to a bunch of fools. I'm taking baby steps with you motherfuckers because that's what you need. Some of you motherfuckers have jumped over the highest fucking fence and there ain't no ground at the bottom over there. There ain't nowhere to land to get a running start. You're still falling. It ain't free falling. You're just fucking falling. So I'm reading some shit. So that way you can quantify something. Now you can follow certain motherfuckers who got little nations fan or whatever, and they believe they came across some Barren Strait and some other goofy shit, whatever the fuck. Ain't nobody crossed no Barren Strait nowhere, all right? But regardless of that, some people's stories are their stories. I'm getting you to look a little further beyond that and know that what happened before is about to fucking happen again. You could be the change, but you motherfuckers, I'm here for this. I told you, I'm not here for the masses. I'm here for the few. But you motherfuckers, man, the few that seems like I can count them on one fucking hand. That's not enough. Because even the few don't really want to put in the real work. I'm starting to question the reality of you because sometimes I can't pull thoughts. I know that's saying too much, but it is what it is. 2 more cups, guys. I hope you're doing the same thing. I decided to share this today because some people hit me with a mess because they knew I was doing it. They already knew. I told them, hey, man, I'm about to do the radiation cleanse. And they're like, yo, look what I found. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. So I said, let me say something before, you know. The only reason why they found it, because when I say things, people go and look for shit. And that's what I want you to do. Tired of all these hating ass motherfuckers. And I told you, I'll put your names out there if you act kind of fucking funny. If you say something that goes against the grain, that creates disturbance, breaks things up, like them 5 little goofy niggas. Listen, I'm going to share something else with you before I go on to that. Everything you see going on in this world is based upon fucking vampires. They're energy vampires. So the more attention you pay all this shit instead of yourself, the more energy you give to that shit. Even if you go to sleep with a thought, even a thought, there's no decompression. It's all pressure. When you're talking about Vanity Fair, if you're talking about anybody out there in the music industry, when I do it, I have no feelings for them. I'm not subjugated to their tyrannical order, the misrepresentation. I look at niggas and women always arguing and talking. When I said whack 100, I said the nigga's a goof. I wish he would come over here instead of Clubhouse, because I'd burn him. I don't give a fuck about him. I know he's a game. He's a ploy. He's one of them motherfuckers that's caught up. Probably, why do you think he had to be laying there caught with butt naked on the phone? Because the nigga's a faggot. Which ain't no problem. So what? But he's part of the game. They're part of a system, y'all. They're energy fucking vampires. For those who like the term vampire, there's another word for it, just like I told you about wolf. I'm grateful for those who found it. That originated in the Caribs that most people don't know because they want to make it like it's some London werewolf in London or some other shit. It is our shit. Everything is ours, but not in the way you think. It belongs to the earth, the world. But they're all ignorant to it. The fact that we have origin. In order to bring in a new world order, you must eradicate the origin of everything. That means upside down, inverted, backwards, reverse. So we're the original people of earth. What must they do with it? The autochthonous. What must they do? The true Tartarians. What must they do with it? Complicated, huh? Or maybe they got a bunch of agents to watch, huh? That would be to your own detriment. In this story, there is no cannon fodder. There aren't. It doesn't matter. I know people have a hard time believing with their little fictional world they live in. Oh, he's talking things that, well, if you feel some kind of way about it, whatever. I can't do nothing about that. Non-believers are always the ones that want people to believe them. Is it starting to make sense? Non-believers are the ones who always want people to believe them. Backwards, reverse. Upside down, inverted. Somebody said when they look at my eyes, there's a part where they open or they do something, and he says, it's a message, you know, they got Gmail. He says, it looks like my eyes go deeper than where I'm at. And I says, well, if that's what you see, then what are you going to do about it? Not a challenge. I says, can yours do that? I said, why don't you look in the mirror and get in touch? People have a hard time doing this. It's a dealing that's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I gotta pull up the thing. I think somebody said something. It's not working like it used to. Unless I put my finger on it. And I don't want to put my finger on it right now. I know so many people are thinking, damn, Red didn't salute the ladies and the men. No, not last video. There's no need to. I usually do it on every one of them, but there's times when I take a break. Okay, let me see what you're saying here, guys. So I like to be able to read. All right, Rondo, salute. Grey Wolf. Mama Red. Max V came in and ran off. Max V, you ran off, you still here. Or is it Grey Wolf? You having a hard time connecting? It seemed like you had. No, I appreciate that. I don't know who's here and who's not. I know Mama Red, you just commented. I know Randall's in the house. I don't know who else. But anyway, I just want to say this. People do things. And they believe like they do things without, in this world we living in right now, everybody's actions believe they can do something, not be held accountable. If you think that being held accountable is, ain't nobody going to do shit. That means you haven't been paying attention. If you are so caught up in a purgatory of your own, maybe you're a child of Reagan's. Maybe you're that cynical and that gone. Maybe there is no saving you. Maybe that's where you're scripted in, the parts you got to play. Because there's got to be a loss of a lot of lives. Well, the good have to go first. But then the subjugated. There's choices still to be made. When I tell you this is the last hoo-ha, there's no more after this. Trust me, you don't have to believe me. I really don't care. They don't. This is the last hoo-ha. You could believe what you want. But everything that I've seen and what I've been allowed or afforded to see and hear, a lot of things I can't tell you. Sadly, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it. You don't even know what to do with what I'm telling you and reading to you now. Even the enemy who's got a lot of their own little dumbass puppets, I don't give a fuck if they, whatever you might think they are. It is meant for them to be held where they're at. And y'all don't get it. There's a choice. Them, there is no choice. So they got to ride it up. They've got to do what they got to do. The end story is not remarkable. It is as it is. How they always say, as it is written, so shall it be. Well, this could have changed long ago. But see, when you have very, very, the term sick people. Somebody, I think, came up and I watched it and I was like, I can't look at this shit. I can't give the energy. There's no energy to give to it, right? China in an Air Force General, China. Be a war with China in 2025. Why in the world would Air Force General or anybody in any branch of the military say anything like that when they know good and goddamn well they're all working hand in hand? See, this is what gets me. And it's not so much China, it's the government that makes sure that people are ignorant. Just like we got a bunch of goofy little peckerwoods join special forces and everything. We went on, we fought, and then only look at the big picture. Jesse Ventura did. He got the fuck stepping. Even after being governor, he saw how poisoned, how inundated it was. And you motherfuckers actually believing that a vote matters. I always talked about the slower death, which was Trump. He's still part of the death mechanism. And I've watched stupid ass people make the same stupid ass mistakes over and over. And then I look at all them niggas, and I met two who were in the Black Panther Party, because my father was, and a few others, who were feds. Well, they worked for the feds, and they regretted in North New Jersey. They regretted it for the rest of their life. Both of them are dead. They regretted it. I mean, when I was over there and I was dating, she passed away last year. Monique Davis, Jehovah's Witness. She loved her and she loved me. She got with this dude. She moved to Brooklyn. She got the jabs, and she dope was her thing. But anyway, Lonnie was working on my Uncle Lonnie, Lawrence Wright, Denver Nuggets, Denver Broncos, was working at NY North at the hospital. I remember I was visiting my cousin, one of my cousins, Chinese cousin, right? Muslim. And we was rapping and talking and shit. And he says, there's a brother I want you to meet. And so we went in the back room, in the back, you know, with their halal chickens, and they slaughter right there, and whatever, in the basement. And the brother's sitting back there eating some egg drop soup. He's got his kufu on and everything. So I walks in the back, and there's a rug. You got to take your shoes off. So I kicked my shoes off, my Nikes, and I sit down, and he introduced himself, and he heard about some of my stories, my travels, Edinburgh, Scotland, Rung Supreme. And he says, brother, you think you can ever forgive me? I says, well, you believe in a God who I don't recognize. I know there's a creator and creators or something. There is something. I can't ostracize that. I says, but I respect as long as you live accordingly. He said, brother, I did a lot of things. And there's a lot of us. And it's still in your generation and even after. He said, I betrayed my own kind. I was used as a weapon against my own people. And when he broke it down, I realized he worked for the feds to help bring down the chapter between Detroit and Newark, New Jersey, the Black Panthers. And there was hundreds, he said. So I know some of you motherfuckers are just like him. This is not a movement. Listen to me now. This is not a fucking movement. We got a bunch of idiots who's running out there creating the calamities and doing the dumb shit they do. They will regret it. And some of them won't even make it to be able to turn around and regret it. Just know this. This is not coming from just any fucking body. Everybody is somebody, depends on what that somebody is. I know the end story, and I will say that until my last breath. It was required for me to give it up. You motherfuckers are playing in a playground where there is no sandbox. No monkey bars. Nothing to climb on. So when you come over here watching, and you say, oh, I know Red and Jim. Oh, yeah. No, you don't know me for shit. Even those who grew up with me will tell you the same thing. You be fucking mindful coming over here. I'm not here for all the fucking YouTube. I'm not here for all you internet motherfucking clowns and monkeys. Okay? You're not going to learn nothing from me. That's locked in. You're going to be stuck in your abbreviation. Now, for the rest of you who can make a choice, you have a choice. You can make that goddamn choice. You better make it. You better make it wisely. This ain't a fucking game. The game was done a long time ago. Believe what you want. It was done a long time ago. That's just the human side of me, because I'm just rattling on now, because for real, it was done a long time ago. Some of y'all just didn't get the fucking memo. My brother Flying, get his book. It's an excellent. Y'all don't. He told me I can read this. Y'all motherfuckers ain't even ready for that. 38 years as an officer in the Army. Still contracting. Just recently retired from the Army. 38 years. Y'all don't want to know. Y'all don't want no truth. Y'all ain't ready for this. You motherfuckers ain't ready for it. I even know some pale skins because I asked them, make sure you let me know. Anyway, let me know who bought the book. And them ones are the quietest ones. They fake little world they live in. No hate. None whatsoever. Y'all just need a good tongue lashing because you've been very ignorant without knowing your own truth. I'm going to read this. Either you'll get it or you won't. This is coming from the Book of Five Rings, the Miyamoto Musashi. I figure some of y'all probably ready. This is battle tunes I got playing. Nordic battle tunes. The way of the martial artist. Some of y'all way of the martial arts, which is deeper than the focus itself. Liken the soldier to a carpenter. That means the carpenter as this is as the comparative nomenclature we're going to give here. The latter sharpens his tools with his own hands, prepares the various instruments of his trade, keeps them in his carpenter's box, receives the master carpenter's instructions, shapes the pillars and beams with his adze, shaves the alcove and shelving with his plane, is accurate in spacing and carving, ascertains correct measurements, and performs his duties well, down to the smallest detail. Doing this, he will later become a master carpenter himself. Now, it is essential that the carpenter's aim be to carry equipment that will cut well. The carpenter, sound like a story for you Christians. And when he has time to sharpen that equipment, that he is an expert at taking that equipment and using it to make bookshelves, desks, and even lamps, and cutting boards and pot lids, which is the specialty of the carpenter. A man who is a soldier is like this. He should examine these similarities carefully for a carpenter to achieve his aim. Listen. It is essential that his work not be uneven, that the corners fit perfectly, that the wood be well shaved with his plane, that he not polish or hone too far, overtrain, and that he produce work that will not twist or warp later on, give in, give sway, lose the will to fight. If you think you would study this way, you should be mindful of everything written here, and you should examine it carefully. And we're going to get deep into this. I just wanted to give you something. And you say, I know some of you who don't have no knowledge at all, pugilism, whatever, and you're not military. And you're going to sit there going, okay, the carpenter, okay, Jesus, and the walking, the talk, the sharpening. To make sure everything is balanced and measured right before acquiescing something else. Before going on to this next job, to make sure that everything fits, because it will topple down. To take your time. It's the same thing with the pugilist, whether it be the katana or with the hands. See, this is what y'all don't get. You always say iron sharpens iron, but where's the iron at? Must the iron be first heated to a certain Celsius, and then beaten and folded, molded, beaten, folded, quenched, beaten, folded, molded, beaten, folded, quenched, then honed to a sharpened skill after a certain clay has been for the last quenching to bring the arc? The same thing with what? The level, the ruler, the lathe, the protractor. So what do you think I'm doing? See, most everybody, there's nothing sharp. There's a whole lot of confusion and conflection and this, that, and deflection. A whole lot of capping and gaslighting. Capping, lies. Gaslighting, lying. is, do you see that there's a difference? Arthur Kessler, The 13th Tribe, Chapter 8, During the Rise. During the long lull between the First and Second Arab Wars, the Khazars became involved in one of the more lurid episodes of Byzantine history. Characteristic of the times and of the role the Khazars played in it. And y'all know that this is by Arthur Kessler, all right? Him and his wife suicided. The stupidity of murdering people because you don't like what they put out there, that's just dumb. Anyway, in AD 685, Justinian II Renomentus became East Roman Emperor at the age of 16. Gibbon, in his inimitable way, sounds like some old kung fu shit. I mean, what's the word? How's it say? Inimitable. Taekwondo, as far as the spirit. Okay, anyway. Has drawn the youth's portrait. His passions were strong, his understanding was feeble, and he was intoxicated. Did you hear that? His passions were strong, his understanding was feeble, to which I was just exerting as far as people's knowledge. People have a strong constitute, a so-called will, but their knowledge is feeble. It's lacking. Everybody that's lacking is going to follow because why? They're feeble-minded as well. Excuse me. And he was intoxicated with a foolish pride. A lot of that going on. His favorite ministers were two beings. Listen, his favorite ministers were two beings, the least susceptible of human sympathy, a eunuch and a monk. The former corrected the emperor's mother with a scourge. The latter suspended the insolvent tributaries with their heads downwards over a slow and smoky fire. You ever thought, what would make anybody want to make a eunuch? If you take the strongest and you want to make them stronger, then what do you subjugate and what do you do? In the perversion of your ideology based upon the oxygen now, saturation, which we don't have now. Anyway, something to look at. After 10 years of intolerable misrule, listen to this. After 10 years of intolerable misrule, we've had 365 days of misrule and nobody said shit. And they're not rulers. There was a revolution and the new emperor, Leontius, ordered Justinian's mutilation and banishment. Mutilation and banishment. The amputation of his nose, perhaps his tongue, was imperfectly performed. The happy flexibility of the Greek language could impose the name remotemetus, cut off nose, which is what it means, metios. And I have to look away because I know some of these words, and reading it just doesn't do me. And the mutilated tyrant was banished to Chersonese and Crim Tartary. Chersonese and Crim Tartary. You see, y'all think Tartary was a lie still? A lonely settlement where corn, wine, and oil were imported as foreign luxuries. Now, do you know why? Because something happened that I was telling you about, where our grand cities of great war with over 1 billion strong army where we were all one, a devastating blow happened. A destruction so you don't fathom where things grow no more. Deposits of sand where it once never existed. Oh, the Sahara? The sub-Sahara Africa? Oh, that sand is not indigenous to that land. Y'all don't get it. Y'all really, really don't get it. And I'm going to read a little more and we're going to the next book. All of earth was green. During his exile in Cherson, Justinian kept plotting to regain his throne. After 3 years, he saw his chances improving when back in Byzantium, which would be Leontius was dethroned and also had his nose cut off as well. That means they were liars. I would like to see that happen to half of these motherfucking politicians. Their noses cut off and some of their tongues removed. But I'm not advocating for violence, but a well-required one, it should, because those laws still stand. Leonidas was dethroned and also had his nose cut off. Justinian escaped from Cherson into the Khazar-ruled town of Doros in the Crimea and had a meeting with the Kagan of the Khazars. King Buzir and Bazir, the Kagan, must have welcomed. Think about, I want y'all to look into Japan. And what was the Kagan? And what was he called? And then I want you to look into Hawaii. I want you to look at some different things. And even South America, so-called South America, we migrated from up north, going back. Anyway, King Buzir al-Bazir. The Kagan must have welcomed the opportunity of putting his fingers into the rich pie of Byzantine dynastic policies, for he formed an alliance with Justinian and gave him his sister in marriage. This sister, who was baptized by the name of Theodore, baptized and then had nothing to do with religion, somewhat, and later duly crowned, seems to have been the only decent person in this series of sordid intrigues, and it means royalty, and to bear genuine love for her noseless husband, in parentheses it states, who was still only in his early 30s, end. The couple and their band of followers were now moved to the town of Phanagoria, which is the present Taman. On the eastern shore of the Strait of Kerch, which had a Khazar governor, here they made preparations for the invasion of Byzantium, with the aid of the Khazar armies which King Buzir had apparently promised. But the envoys of the new emperor, Tiberius III, pay attention, persuaded Buzir to change his mind by offering him a rich reward in gold if he delivered Justinian, dead or alive, kind of a bounty, would you say, to the Byzantines. King Buzir accordingly gave orders to two of his henchmen named Papatzes and Bargetris to assassinate his brother-in-law, but faithful Theodora got wind of the plot and warned her husband. Justinian invited Papatzes, sound like paparazzi, right? And Bargetris separately to his quarters and strangled each in turn with a cord. If we knew what we knew now, we would do that with certain people in our neighborhoods and on our blocks within our communities. Then he took ship, sailed across the Black Sea into the Danube estuary, and made a new alliance with a powerful Bulgar tribe. Their king, Terbolus, proved the time being more reliable than the Khazar Kagan. It gets really, really good after that. In 704, AD 704. And I told you I saw buildings gilded. 6, 90, 7, 24. I think one was 485. DNA of the Gods, the Anunnaki creation of Eve at the alien battle for humanity. Chris H. Hardy, PhD. When we last stepped off was, we weren't created out of nothing by divine will, but out of a genetic engineering mixing for the greater part, the Anunnaki DNA to humanoid DNA. There's nothing even remotely akin to an original sin in the beginning of humanity, and even less so a sin attributable to Eve Tiamat. All in all, as far as humanity is concerned, there was no fault nor sin, but only a leap, both in cognitive and moral terms. In parentheses, it states self-awareness, end. And in biological terms, in parentheses, it states procreative abilities. So to procreate, as stated in the latter of what we read yesterday. If there was anything like a forbidden action carried over, forbidden by the commander of Earth, Does that sound more like something we read before? Most confound them, custodians. There's numerous books. There's a lot more y'all just don't get. The reigning despot, then 3 gods of Anu's direct descent, did it of a common decision. Not only was the first Earth-human couple wholly unable to participate in the decision, or even to understand what was at stake, but this action was for the great benefit of the future humanity. So much so, indeed, that without it, there would not have been any humanity, only armies of clones. Star Wars, Clone Wars, Betrayal of the Republic. Think about it. The Anakin. The fault thus exists only in terms of the social organization of the royal family and is a purely internal affair between 2 enemy brothers. And why would they need armies? Pay attention, people. It's a puzzle. You already know I'm not going to make nothing negative. I'm not going to give because y'all are very weak. Precisely, it was a trinity whose mastermind was the woman, god Nimna, and with her Enki, Pa, and Ningishzda, and pronounced, well, anyway, it's Thoth or Hermes, however you want to say it, but Ningishzda is the name. That is a woman and her half-brother, both princes, children of the king of heaven, Anu, born of different mothers, both chief scientists, one in life sciences and the other in physics and engineering sciences. With them was one of Enki's sons, taught in life sciences and all other sciences. They were a trinity of divine scientists, because their science was not limited to the materialist and rationalist paradigm still governing ours, but was also, and this despite the very human traits of these Anunnaki, blended with, I need that gas to come up, blended with spiritual sciences, a good example being the Hermetic science that was developed by Thoth and Hermes and transmitted from Egypt to the early Greek philosophers and scientists. Lead these last paragraph here and be on to the next. These creator gods didn't create Earth, but as the Sumerian term Anunnaki says it, they were those who came down to Earth from heaven, Nibiru. We know this is the fanatical prism of a 33rd degree Masonic. You look him up. And he's giving enough tea, though, and cheese. Nimna nevertheless brought with her numerous genomes of animals and plants from the original planet, Nibiru, and adapted these species to our planet so as to jumpstart agriculture and farming. This is to throw you off. For the Lakota people, or Sioux, it is an inclusive young woman, white buffalo woman, who brought to the tribes of the plains the sacred pipe and taught them the ceremonies attached to it. She was thus taking them to a novel stage of culture and consciousness, the consciousness that all beings on earth are parents, that all is alive and interacting, and connected as well with the spirit dimension. There's a story that the Sioux do not know, but is one of our Greek fucking great ancestors who passed it down. So what they saw was a albinism, a very tall individual who, like the Hara people who went to Japan, well, the Anu Islands, Hawaii, and all the other islands, these people, melanated, but albinism, because it was their duty to serve because of the lepers of their families. I can't tell you the whole story. And these Lakota people are new. Well, the Sioux. They're not who they think they are, but that's a whole nother dynamic. I love them regardless. Earth and parents, that is all alive and interacting and interconnected as well with the spirit dimensions. So did you get that? The consciousness and that all beings on earth are parents. That all is alive, all things, and interacting and interconnected as well with the spirit dimension. and they have separated us, these enemies that y'all ignore. Thus, it is a lady who created Adam. It is a lady who dotted Earth with the luxuriant explosion of intelligent human life, of domesticated animals and cultivated plants. And who would need something powerful to protect her? I gotta turn something off on the stove. Therefore, she made us. Perfect. Papa, you want some more agua? Yeah. Come on. I'm sticking your butt about me. Come on, let's get some water. Come on. Let's stop it off. Here you go, Papa. I'll clean it out. This is still fresh. Oh, yeah. All right. This is fresh. I shouldn't taste too charcoal either, so let me see. Better charcoal than anything. Look at me now. We're at chapter 98. You ready? I don't think you're ready for this. We did 97. Believe ye righteous are the sinners. And they won't listen. A lot of fruit to chew on and some seeds to spit out. But let's go on here. And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish. For ye shall have, and a lot of people, when I was talking about earlier, about they believe them wise, right? But they do foolish deeds. Because they don't know what they're talking about. Now, I'm not saying not to listen, and they're wrong. They just don't know what they're talking about. And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish, for ye shall have manifold experiences on the earth. Manifold. For ye men shall put on more adornments than a woman, and colored garments more than a virgin. In royalty and in grandeur and in power, and in silver and in gold and in purple. And in splendor and in food they shall be poured out as water. Therefore they shall be wanting in doctrine and wisdom, and they shall perish thereby together with their possessions, and with all their glory and their splendor. Now do you know I say stop wearing all this name brand shit? I've got tons of Nike. I get the shit listen to me. Cheap. Mostly my stuff is no brand, no name. Nike, I've been wearing it since I was a kid when it was nothing. Why change now? Because we made it something? And they shall perish thereby together with their possessions, and with all their glory and their splendor, and in shame, and in slaughter, and in great destitution. So you see all these niggas, Mr. Organic, and Gilly, and all them, look at the car, the Alpha Romeo, that, blah, blah. Fine, but it's they glamorize it. Why? Because they are struck. They are gone. Beyonce, Mary J. Blige with her dyke ass, standing up there doing the stiff leg like she's got a dildo strapped to both legs. She can't even bend her knees the way she walks, waddles around. The perversions that they've acclimated to. And then they always got to give up one weaker sacrifice. R. Kelly, they ain't give him up. He's still portraying. He's still having a good time. And in shame and in slaughter and in great destitution, their spirits shall be cast into the furnace of fire. I have sworn unto you, ye sinners, as a mountain has not become a slave, and a hill does not become the handmaid of a woman. Listen to me. I have sworn unto you, ye sinners, as a mountain has not become a slave, and we are a mountain of a people, and a hill does not become the handmaid of a woman. Even so, and do you know what a hill is? A hill of a lie. Anyway, even so, sin has not been sent upon the earth, but man of himself has created it, and under a great curse shall they fall who commit it. And barrenness has not been given to the woman, but on account of the deeds of her own hands she dies without children. I have sworn unto you, ye sinners, by the Holy Great One, even in the perversion of those who act out to script themselves as if they are the pertainers to this, or the retainers of everything that's happening, and they are not. That all your evil deeds are revealed in the heavens, and that none of your deeds of oppression are covered and hidden. And do not think in your spirit, nor say in your heart that ye do not know, and that ye do not see, that every sin is every day recorded in heaven in the presence of the Most High. The Most High. It could be a group. It could be one. It could be something that you have no idea about. From henceforth, ye know that it could be you and the gift you gave yourself coming here, and when you return, you realize it could be a number of things. From henceforth, ye know that all your oppression wherewith ye oppress is written down every day till the day of your judgment. Everything has a standing. Woe to you, ye fools, for through your folly shall ye perish, and ye transgress against the wise. And so good hap shall not be your portion. That means they don't even know this. So they will be portioned out. For every action, there's a opposite and equal, and even greater. And now know ye that ye are prepared for the day of destruction. Therefore do not hope to live, ye sinners. Oh, they prep. They believe they can go where you don't know nothing about. They're not safe nowhere. And you need a crazy individual who will sit there and go on, we brought on the end of the world. When the end is coming right at them, I'm going to destroy them. They don't get it. And y'all don't get it either. But you're afraid to die. Bunch of punks. Ye sinners, but ye shall depart and die, for ye know no ransom. For ye are prepared for the day of the great judgment, for the day of tribulation and great shame for your spirits. And what is what does it mean, tribulation? Doesn't mean what you think it does. These pastors and bitches, Vaticans, and all them chumps have lied. Woe to you, ye obstinate. That means to abstain of heart. That means abstain from the truth of your heart. Your convictions are false. You choose wrong. Who work wickedness and eat blood, and partake in things that is never meant to be partaken of. Eat to mean feast on flesh and blood. Whence have ye good things to eat and to drink and to be filled? From all the good things which the Most High has placed in abundance on the earth, therefore ye shall have no peace. Woe to you who love the deeds of unrighteousness. Yeah, Bill Gates, your fraud, your test tube babies, and all the other bastards. Wherefore, yes, may you listen. Wherefore do ye hope? Because they believe this all to be fiction, and we need them to believe it. Unrighteousness, because of the idiot who owns the original one. Wherefore do ye hope for good hap unto yourselves? No, now that ye shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous, and they shall cut off your necks and slay you, and have no mercy upon you. Woe to you who rejoice in the tribulations. A lot of people went to war believing they were fighting a righteous war for Christianity, and a lot of some bitches got their heads cut off. Woe to you who said at naught the words of the righteous, for ye shall have no hope of life. Woe to you who write down lying and godless words, for they write down their lies that men may hear them and act godlessly towards their neighbor. Therefore they shall have no peace, but die a sudden death. I know what you're saying. Oh, but what about all these young people down there? Well, didn't they have a 6-year-old kid raised by a bunch of idiots shoot a teacher in the hand and shoulder? Ain't got nothing to do with assault weapons or anything. That shit ain't new. We knew kids when I was growing up to kill motherfuckers with a gun. Man, get out of here with these. That's why stop allowing these vampires to suck on you. Stop giving them energy. Stop conversing about these motherfuckers. But what about you? I'm different, motherfucker. You're not. Can't even take recourse to motherfucking no because you think you know everything. You stupid motherfuckers. And I'm speaking your language. The Book of Giants, the Watchers, Nephilim, and the Book of Enoch. I know these books right here because you religious motherfuckers. I tell you to get rid of religious. You don't know how to hear just the key words that are beneficial when you've heard so much. You ready? And the last we checked popped off. I just wanted to read this. There's a couple of words in here I should have looked up. Angels and the cause of their fall, which comes directly from the Enochian writings, where we left off. Irenaeus, A.D. 180, in his work against heresies, spoke of Enoch, whose translation was a prophetic view of our future rapture. For Enoch, when he pleased God, was translated in the same body in which he did please him. Translated. That means as you and I'm translating to you as you see or perceive of me. Thus pointing out by anticipation the translation of the just. Since any book stands to be interpreted in many ways, Enoch posed problems for some theologians. Instead of re-examining their own theology, they sought to dispose of that which went counter to their beliefs. Some of the visions of Enoch are believed to point to the consummation of the age in conjunction with Christ's second coming, which took place in AD 70. In the destruction of Jerusalem, in parentheses it states. This being the case, it should not surprise us that Enoch was declared a fake and was rejected by Hilary, Jerome, and Augustine. Enoch was subsequently lost to Western Christendom for over 1,000 years. However, some view the book of Enoch as prophetic, not only as a timeline, but being a picture into what is coming to all those who believe and are obedient to the Creator. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this. That's why I hate when people say language. What's the translation of this word? There is no such thing as a translation of this word. For you and I are the word. We sit there and we go, what's your name? I am not my name. I am so much more. That's my translation. But it's bigger than you. And these bastards have believed they have made you a number, a 10, just a name, Halai Bell. You see anybody else talking like this, you let me know. Please point them my way. Maybe we're supposed to meet. Anyway. However, some view the book of Enoch as prophetic, not only as a timeline, but being a picture into what is coming to all those who believe and are obedient to the Most High. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because the Creator had translated him. Before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased the Creator. And that's in Hebrews 11:5. Enoch experienced rapture in his time before the judgment of the flood. What Enoch experienced is what some modern Christians believe is waiting for the church. So when they say rapture, it's actually translation. It means you don't have to capitulate to something outside of it. It means something that was written if you live accordingly, not vicariously. Vicariously is a trap. It's like walking into a trap house. You walk in and knowing many things can happen. But if you live outside and you know that it's a way not to go in, you're not wayward. So you transliterate and you translate as it was meant to be. You stay on path. You don't come off path. When Enoch experiences what some modern Christians believe is as if they were before anyway, waiting for the church. And that's 1 Thessalonians 4:15 through 17. Anyway, promises that Jesus will ascend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the, this is a misrepresentation. Anyway, it is what it is. We're going to read it. With the voice of the archangel and the trumpet of God, and the church will be taken up or raptured to meet him in the air. The book of Enoch may inform and prepare us for coming events. Some believe, and these are just beliefs, there are prophecies contained in the book of Enoch that are as applicable as those written in the books of Daniel and Revelation. The prophecies within each are presented in several ways. There is a list, several chakras. Anyway, a list of weeks, much like those of Daniel. There are a list of animals and their actions toward each other. There is a list of generations defining a timeline. Not time, a timeline. Enoch's 70 generations was also a great problem. Many scholars thought it could not be made to stretch beyond the 1st century. Copies of Enoch soon disappeared. Indeed, for almost 2,000 years, we knew only the references made to it in the Bible. Without having the book itself, we could not have known it was being quoted in the Bible, sometimes word for word by Peter and Jude. Let's see here. The Lord, having saved a people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not, and angels that kept not their own principality, but left their proper habitation. He hath kept in everlasting bonds under darkness unto the judgment of the great day, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them, in like manner, are set out as examples. You would find that in Jude, chapters 5 through 7. For if God spared not the angels when they sinned, but cast them down into hell, and committed them to pits of darkness, doesn't sound like burning, right? To be reserved until judgment. Well, that's New Testament bullshit. Remember what I told you what the flame fire shit is? Anyway. To what, excuse my language, I didn't mean to, I'm passionate about this and I need y'all to get it. To what extent other New Testament writers regarded Enoch as scriptural canon may be determined by comparing their writings with those found in Enoch. A strong possibility of influence upon their thought and choice of wording is evident by a great many references found in Enoch, which remind one of passages found in the New Testament. If I have 3 books and none of them have any meaning together whatsoever, I can't let this go into the next, y'all. Excuse me. Trust me, I can't. Why? I'll let it go into that. Excuse me. Let's see. This is one of my favorites right here. Yeah. Anyway, however, some view the book of Enoch as prophetic, right? Listen, man. You already know. I mean, I want to say, I want to be repetitive, all right? Regardless of what I don't want to be repetitive. I just want y'all to get this, that we know that if they assert pain as an answer for anything that goes against what the enemy is doing, and they institutionalize it from childhood, from when you're children are all, young, and they subjugate them to pain and torture, then the pain is engraven, right? It's engraven, right? And they tell you to be obedient to God, but then they set themselves up as gods in secrecy, right? And rapture and all this other stuff. And then we learned what translation was, right? Some people believe that rapture, I need to go here. Rapture would be a great number. That's not what it means. Jesus. Be careful, Red. Let me read this and see what you get, because by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, right? Why is death all of a sudden bad? Who put that there? And was not found because God had translated him, right? Right? That's what it states for you religious people. Before his translation. And I just wanted to read this again. Enoch experienced rapture in his time before the judgments of the flood. So we know that what? We already figured out what Noah's real name was, right? We have a grand idea who Enoch becomes, Megatron, right? For if God spared not the angels, then they sin when they sin, but cast them down into hell. But listen, and committed them to pits of darkness to be reserved until judgment. When we get this all in the New Testament, come on, people, pay attention. I'm not here to dismiss. I'm here to say, look beyond to what they've done. To what extent other New Testament writers regarded Enoch as scriptural canon may be determined by comparing their writings with those found in Enoch. A strong possibility of influence. So that means, so if Enoch, the book of Enoch, existed, we wouldn't have all this fanciful nonsense. We wouldn't have had Hollywood designers creating the lies and keeping people in purgatory, while the same people who say they worship this, that, and other are the same ones doing the most horrendous things. Hold on. And those who you believe to be your politicians and your governors and your presidents who swear on a Bible, do you not see the paradigm of the game played to you? Hold on now. They don't care about the truth. A strong possibility of influence upon their thought and choice of wording is evident by a great many references found in Enoch, which remind one of passages found in the New Testament. The New Testament. What does new mean? What does testament mean? Who keeps changing and rewriting things? Didn't I say there's only one book based upon Enoch? And the enemy has that book? One of these secret societies passing it around? Enoch was also referenced in other writings, such as the book of Jubilees, which is canon to the Ethiopic Christian Church, and the book of Giants, in which one of the fallen angels is called by the name of Gilgamesh. Are you starting to get a gander to what Nimrod and the book of Enoch seems to be a missing link between Jewish and Christian theology. What is theology? And is considered by many to be more Christian in its theology than Jewish. And who are the Jews today? It was considered scripture by many early Christians. Christendom was based on Christanable, who worshipped what? What pagan deity of what? Had nothing to do with the truth, because it is a new founded frontier of bullshittivity. Constructed based on the manipulation of your genomes and history and everything else. Enoch, on the other hand, is a name more in lieu of Tartaria, which they must have to script in another fashion to make you not think about your original story. So therefore you will become the original sin. While they partake of everything that is not meant to be partaken of. And that's why I got hammered one day when somebody says, man, what you talking about? I'm gonna eat my barbecue, I'm gonna eat my beef, my chicken, and my pig. And not one of them are original. And you're just in love with the flesh. You don't even know, because you're so disconnected from the spirit. In layman's terms. Exposing the Expositions, 1851-1915, revised 2021 from Bahadi Mask. The revised edition of 2021 from 2019 by Howdy Mikowski, all right? Excuse me. All right, so anyway, let's read this part right here, and then we'll go on to the next. All right? But for all the nice Roman buildings and pleasant lagoons, this was a very strange fair. First is the Johnstown flood midway concession, which was a very graphic presentation of the 1889 disaster in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, caused by a dam breaking and resulting in the loss of 2,200 lives. Of course, our people buried. It cost 25 cents and ran every 30 minutes, an exhibit to show off a massive amount of death from a flood. Of course they would show our deaths, the thoughtfulness of this land. And the May 4th, 1901 edition of the Buffalo Times called it called it wonderful. Why do you think this is important? Because I think this is really a depiction of what alternate historians refer to as the mud flood, a worldwide event, though not necessarily at the same moment of time, perhaps triggered by some sort of sound or energy weapon locally, that produced biblical floods and left cities covered in many feet of mud. Whether Jonestown itself had a dam burst or whether that was just a story to explain the obvious flood damage from the event. Now you're getting the picture. I get the sense that this Jonestown exhibit, and y'all can look up Johnstown exhibit, was really there symbolically to reflect the worldwide destruction over the last 100 or so years. In parentheses, it states, which will be further mentioned in the final chapter. And it was okay if these expositions lost money, for they had a deeper purpose altogether, and I feel that was a sort of historical brainwashing. The very Roman-looking stadium can be found here, and I'm still putting so many of these things in here, and I haven't gotten to the end of them. I'm putting them all together for when I finish this book. I will post them, and you can go and you can Google search all this information. But anyways, https //www.earth Station 9, EARTHSTATION9.com /pictures, uppercase P in pictures, uppercase P in pictures, /1901_stadium.jpg. Native Indians were brought in again to have giant battle reenactments with U.S. cavalry troops in a 12,000-seat stadium that was an imitation of the Colosseum in Rome. Built as a temporary structure, the enormous stadium became a topic of speculation as the exposition's closing neared. A few wanted to maintain it as a permanent addition to the North Buffalo area, but it was owned by the Exposition Company and stood on leased land, and so there was no serious contemplation of preserving an all-wooden structure whose decorative features were covered with staff. Like the rest of the Exposition buildings, it only appeared substantial. A news item from March 25th, 1902 said, "The great stadium of the Exposition has been attacked by the wreckers and it will be laid low in a few days." Further photos of this stadium show a great amount of what can only be called weathering, including what appears to be a type of mold growing on some of the walls. It seems like an awful lot of mold for a structure only supposed to be 1 year old. Look it up for yourself and try to explain that amount of weathering on a 1 year old building. Look it up. We're going to read this one and go on to Heaven Bearers. The battles were set up to be like a 1950s movie Western. Edison has some of it filmed. And when watching it, so that means you can Google or pull it up on YouTube. And when watching it, it seems to be lines of two sides firing shots at each other. But at no time does anyone pretend to die or be hurt. The Indians were there as part of the showing off the defeated nations, just destroyed by the U.S. Army. TPs and exhibits were set up to show their primitive tools. That is to dismantle the notion that we were civilized and built these great cities. So they had to bring their mongrel servants in. Anyway, primitive tools and primitive life to further present the greater military power of the U.S. to defeat them, and the great consumer goods that the eastern city people had that made them superior to the natives. Margaret Creighton wrote in her book, The most shocking event in the fair was the public slaughter of 700 dogs. Many taken from animal shelters are snatched off streets. It was held over 2 days in front of 20,000 spectators. The Indian Congress, made up of several tribes, carry out the executions with Geronimo, on loan from an Oklahoma prison. Killing the first dog with a bow and arrow, the dogs were then eaten. You natives are definitely not from this soil. But the racism did not stop there. A popular part of the Midway was the old plantation. The Buffalo Evening News described, in parentheses, it states, and I quote the article exactly, genuine Southern darkies, 200 of them, ranging in years from wee, toddling pickaninnies to Negroes, gray and bent with age, can be seen each day at the exposition at their different occupations and pastimes. Remember the Indians being utilized in zoos? Lovers of Negro melodies will have a feast. Many of the darkies will be selected because of their special talents as singers and banjo players, and they will dance and sing to the seductive tinkling of instruments, exactly as the Negroes of the South, banjos, Confederacy, used to do in the long, long ago. Negroes of the South used to do in the long, long ago. The Buffalo Express suggested, if you like to hear coon songs and dances, a tribe, and banjo music, go to the old plantation and spend a very pleasant hour or so. You can find several photos, and the banjo was harmonic. Photos of it on the net if you would search cakewalk, Google search cakewalk in old plantation expositions, and racism seemed to be tied together during the period. Can we say diversions, departure, separation, and division? President McKinley arriving at the Temple of Music shortly before being assassinated, and they have his original picture, knowing that they would kill this motherfucker. Eating flesh, bloodletting, sacrifices in higher places are very important. And we'll get into the Buffalo Exposition next. Heaven Bearers, the Great Reset of 1834 in the Mud Flood, Janine Helen. That's her in South Africa, in her home country. I had to feel the sun, excuse me. You remember this part right here? We were reading and it was a dream, but it's more than a dream. This part I'm going to enjoy. Oh man, I love reading this. Oh, don't you dare. Anyway, I know it's page 191. Anyway, you remember in the last part, we'll finish off there and then we'll start the new. So Cassidy, wait, where are you going? Cassidy, please come back here, she shouts. But she is once again completely alone in a place that is confusing and she doesn't know where she is. The blue light fades and the colors return to normal. Excuse me. But she isn't in the forest anymore. She is underground, and she can hear a river flowing. It is not far from where she is standing. She follows the sound, and the current is strong and loud. There are fish swimming in it. They are golden color, with bright red fins, and they are fighting against the flow of the crystal clear water, trying to get back upstream. She bends down to take a sip, but the water slides off of her hand, just as water separates from oil. She pulls her hand away and gently runs the fingers of her other hand over her palm to feel if there is something on her hand. My hand feels normal. There's nothing there. She is confused and sticks her hand back into the water, but the water is repulsed by her. She jumps into the river and the water lifts up to either side of the river. Moses. Bank, in the shape of a circle so that she is surrounded by it, but it doesn't touch her. She can feel the white and gray pebbles underneath her feet, and she walks through the river all the way upstream until she reaches its source. The underneath, she mutters to herself and wonders why she is here. She looks out ahead and there is a massive body of water, but it is not blue. It is not any color at all. How can this be? She climbs out of the river and picks up a pebble and throws it into the body of water, and it dries up suddenly, leaving millions of these golden fish to wriggle in agony on the riverbed. She picks up a single fish and takes a good look at it. Take your friends and swim downstream, she orders it, and one by one the fish push themselves along the dry ground towards the river and throw themselves back into the clear water. She doesn't understand what is happening, but she isn't afraid. La-dee-da-da-da-la-la. She starts to hum along to the tune and strolls over the dry lake floor. The dry pieces of sand crunches under her weight, and she enjoys the sound they make. She has only been walking for a few minutes, but she has already reached the opposite side of the lake, and she stares back to where she started, and it looks to be over a mile away. Everything that is happening around her is defying logic and makes no sense. She looks around and then decides to carry on walking, but she suddenly can't go any further. There is nothing but a big stone wall with rough edges right up in front of her, and it appeared out of nowhere. She can't go back, and the walk is too far, and the wall is too high. She doesn't know what to do or where to go, and she is running out of patience. I am getting tired of the games, she shouts across the vast nothingness, and hears how her voice echoes all around her. What is expected of me? Someone just tell me so I can do it. I'd like to get back to my husband now. There is no answer, and she stomps her foot hard on the ground and sighs out loud. The earth begins to shake violently, and black roots force their way up from the ground and grab hold of her legs, and she cries out in pain as they grab hold of her. I feel this. Why can I suddenly feel pain? She reaches down and tries to free herself from the stronghold that they have, but she can't hold on to them. They slip out of her hands just like jelly. She clenches her fists as tight as she can, and she screams, "Enough!" Everything goes quiet, the roots disappear, and snow falls from the sky, with just a single snowflake landing on her outstretched hand. She carefully places the snowflake onto her tongue, and she is transported to the flower field that she sees in her dreams. Cassidy is there, and her mother is braiding her hair, while she is telling her a story about how the Tartarians joined forces with an evil race called the Phoenicians in order to overthrow their one true enemy. But Mommy, why must we hate them so, if their hearts are so pure? Cassidy asks, confused, and pulls the petals off a dainty purple flower. I don't know, sweetheart. We are just told to hate them, and we don't question what we are told. Why would we? Our leaders only want the best of us. They would never lie to us. She answers robotically. Her response seems rehearsed, and it bothers Bonnie. Why don't they question anything? Everything should be questioned. This is the only way to ensure you always know the truth, she thinks to herself. Father walks up to them and hands them each a bunch of freshly picked flowers. Wow, these are gorgeous, Jean Lee, thank you, she says, and finishes braiding Cassidy's hair. He sits down in front of Cassidy and touches her soft and sweet face with his big protective hands. But we know who this is. We don't hate them, at least not for long. Your sister will unite us and she will save us all. He looks over in the direction where Bonnie is standing and she stretches her hand out to him. Her fingertips longing to feel him for just a short moment. He smiles at her and blows her a kiss. And we will pick up the next part tomorrow. So in 2 hours, we're going to come back. And I'm going to show you what I'm just going to read it. Should I do the introduction? Because, man, this introduction, bro, it's short. But let me show you this. Forward it. William Cooper and his daughter, Dorothy. I'm going to read you the introduction. And we're going to get into, I was like saying to myself, man, I ain't giving nobody no energy, no nothing. But this right here, I'm just going to go to Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, which is chapter 1. We're not going to deal with the forwards and all that. And holy shit. So in 2.5 hours, I got to get some of these guys. I got my beans warming up. And it's 1:28. I want to have everything prepared for about 3 o'clock. And 4:45, we will get into. Okay. Behold the Pale Horse. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to chime in, hang out. And I really do. Share this. All right. I'm grateful. I see my boy Lloyd. He shares it in all the groups. I see we have people who are complacent and complicit. They're in the other groups and they love the fairy tales. But people are going to come around when they realize that there's a shitstorm brewing and they've been following the shitstorms. And they're going to realize, wow, and something tantric's going to hit them. They don't have to wait. Do your part. Shout out, and then I'm off. I know there's a lot of commentary. I'll deal with those later. Rondo, what's going on, beloved? Grey Wolf, what's happening? Max V, I hope you came back. Mama Red, what's going on, baby mama? Equator 7, what's cracking? Rip Floyd, what's up, mama? Navi Poet, some associate with say Corona had his nose cut off too. Yes! Look at that. It doesn't pop up. I had to put my finger on people. I appreciate. Yes! Yes! See that? And yo, I hope y'all following Navi, man. If y'all ain't following her, man, I'm gonna punch one of y'all in the nose, man. Woman have sex with Anunnaki giants. Hey, woman deeds her chemicals. Oh, West Side was cracking. Yes. Increase in kidney disease. Yes. Sometimes because they will not listen. It's all right though. You guys are listening. You're the change. You illuminate. And you take whatever I share and you share it with others. You have them come on over. And then they can take the same information. And you see a lot of people come and they go. And then you see them. Westside points it out. Right, a number of people pointed out. So-and-so's talking about what you was talking about. I was like, well, so be it. Fine. And they were never talking about it, which is fine. Christianity, yes. Yes, they are. And so a lot of niggas too. Well, all of them niggas. All of them. The soulless. So they make a choice. They have, listen to me. I want to correct something. I said it the other day. I want you to listen and pay attention. Everybody has a source in them. Remember I stated, either you're going to feed it, or if it wants to disembark because you're not doing what it needs to be done, it will cause you to go. Now, the enemy is causing a lot of people to go, but your energy, if you're going to go against it, it will end you. It will remove itself from you. To feed it is important because it doesn't need physical food. The body does. You must breathe. The spirit that in you is beyond all of this. They have it. They choose not to feed it. And if you don't feed it, you will become oblivious to it and you will act out as the idiots. How many of y'all been looking at doorbell news? Are you paying attention? Can you see how the interpretation of those who are suffering and they don't even know it? Remember, we're not here to banish. If you want to run up in somebody's house and you get dead, doing that 3 or 4 bullets, that's what happens. Par for the course. Yet, these people are suffering. Some people are fanatical, and you think, oh, it's all fun, they're going to do it. But that's a form of suffering that we cannot antiquate because we allow the vampires to push a narrative to make them look like, oh, they're born this cycles, and they're this heavy-duty country did a video on the calls a 6-year-old child a psycho. The kid don't know no better because he's got negative energy. He got false energy. He don't know no better. So, of course, he's going to put psycho. He's going after the ATF. That's where he needs to stay at. Heavy duty country. Keep your little dumb peckerwood, less melanated ass right where you need to be. And don't worry about that. You forgot about MK Ultra. Oh, that's right. You believe the earth is a spinning ball. You don't know no better, son. Stay where you at, young buck. Now, as far as everybody else, do yourselves a favor. That source that's in you, feed it, enlighten it, not with ignorance. And that's the problem with most people. Their consortium is the palette to which they have, the plate. And allow everybody else to paint on it instead of them painting it. Everybody has a source. A lot of people aren't feeding it. Except for giving it more of the enemy's bullshit. Beloved. It has, yes, to restore, but it hasn't gone nowhere. It's our choice to reconnect, to order. We have to reestablish the connection. The enemy broke it. We're aware now. So what does that mean? We reestablish it. You feel me? This is what I've been doing for a long time. And somebody said I need to come on here, and this is what I'm doing. So I'm going to make corrections where corrections are due. Does it make sense? I'm always pointing at my pineal gland. Anyway, does it make sense? It hasn't gone nowhere. I've said this. We have a choice. We can reconnect back to order, reestablish the connection, or we can stay disconnected, which is foolish because it's all around us. We just don't see it. Remember I said, because we're by skill. We're allowing everything that's tangible to be seen instead of seeing beyond that. Oh, you know I love you, but yes, put it out there. It needs to be said. Everybody else needs to be talking like this because a lot of people are going to be thinking, and you do what everybody won't do. You say what needs to be said, and then I can correlate. I can sit there and go yes, or I can sit there and break it down further. I wouldn't talk about something if I couldn't enlighten, have a little bit more enlightenment about it. That's the whole purpose. Otherwise, I shouldn't be here reading or talking about nothing. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Research it for yourself. I'm always going to say, does it make sense? If it doesn't, find something that does. Everybody, all my beloved peoples, do that. And I am starving. I am hungry. And I'm hungry like a wolf. Oh, I don't want to get copyright because I'm singing a song I shouldn't be singing and shit. I know, man. Yes, this is my real hair. Somebody messaged me, dude, you got a perm in your hair. Because they saw my hair when I turned around because they saw that. That is my hair. There's no perm. It's not growing out. If I was to sit here like I did a couple of days ago and not come on live or nothing, a few days, whatever, and didn't wash my, got in the shower, I came out, I didn't put no lime, and I didn't put no coconut oil in my hair. I didn't slick it back and brush it to wave it. And it was just like a big ass poof mohawk sitting up on my head about that damn high all the way back. You can see that's what it is. I can't lay the back down. My hair has changed because of my age. Everything has changed. It's my hair. Stop being focused on things that don't matter. See that? Some people say, oh, there go the Chinese and the Japanese. Man, shut the fuck up with your stupidness. I think it's funny. But please, allow yourself to be privy to who you are and love and embrace that, because it will out. Not if you ask, I'm gonna answer. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get the response you negate or think you should. Because see, if it's a stupid question, I'm gonna give a stupid ass answer. But it's gonna be one to shut your monkey ass up. So stop being the monkey. We don't do that here. You know, I know some of y'all know I have fun with this shit. I really do. Yeah. But that's my Aunt Dorothy and Junebug and Regina and Antoinette. Their mother is from Denver. She's Siksika. I remember saying that in high school. People don't, what the fuck is a Siksika? Now in the military, Siksika says, I think it's Blackfoot, like nighttime, like Night George. He used to work for the city. My grandpa, who died back before I went to high school. Nighttime, old banjo on the harp playing, the old slick. Him and Chuck Berry, good friends. That's how I heard about 65 and the Crossroads. Diz Gillespie, my grandmother took care of, Diz Gillespie before him passed away. And that's how she got the Sherpa key that she used to bring down to Florida to my wife and my child. And, I don't like talking about all that history. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to go make something to eat. And like I said, I'm going to set it up and I'll be back on. Yeah, my grandmother. Yeah, Christmas loved her too. Both of them. I had bought a statue. I was in New York. We was walking down underneath World Trade Center. I bought a statue and I melted to my grandmother. She was over in Tishner in Montclair, New Jersey. By the fire department. Around the corner, down the block from the fire department. Nishwain, where I did the mural. Nishwain Park. And she said, how did you know to give me this dog? I said, what are you talking about, Mama? I said, I know you love Christmas. I love you. Lucky was my golden retriever. I said, I know you love dogs. Aristotle, the one who stayed by the door 21 years. Ari, when he went to Chicago, he lived, waiting for me to come home always. And she says, no, this dog you bought is a Sherpa key. I said, I guess that's what they said at the store. I just bought it for you because I felt it was beautiful for you, Mom. And she says, do you know I got a Sherpa key? I was like, get the fuck out of here. Everybody was going, how the fuck the bread? And I said, well, where'd you get the Sherpa key, Mom? She said, well, I took care of this Gillespie, jazz musician. I was like, yeah, I know. Well, his had some pups and Giles after Miles Davis, friends of the family. And that's all I'm gonna say. So I have a lot to teach you. I know some things. Share the good news. All right. And y'all have a grand day. Uh-oh, ladies. I have to tip my hat. My brothers, salute. It's always love. Remember, it's an uninterrupted truth. Oh, what? And not a music band. It is now one tribe of different bands, locations. Yeah, they're all stupid. They're all dumb. They don't know what they're doing. They're all so worried about a damn dollar. There's no truth to them. Stop following those fucking idiots.